So, first of all, the Early Career Researcher Awards. These awards aim to recognise the contribution of early career researchers in advancing the discipline of academic primary care through research. Now, we've got two awards. One is for an academic general practitioner and one is for a primary care scientist. The awards are funded by Society for Academic Primary Care and RCGP, and the winners get £500 each. And the aim of that funding is to enable the winners to fund to either a conference, an international conference, international travel to meet other researchers, but basically to develop collaborations across the globe. I know £500 isn't a lot, but it contributes. So this year, the panel judged the application by Dr. Ben Brown, who's an academic GP from the University of Manchester, and we felt his application was outstanding. Now, he can't be with us in person today, so I'm very much hoping that the technology won't let us down, that he's here and that we've got his presentation. So I'm going to hand over to Ben. Can you hear Ben?
Hi, Carolyn. Can you hear me?
We can hear you and we can see your slides.
Great. Okay, well, let's go through this. So hi, everyone. I'm Ben Brown, and I'm very thankful to the college and SAPC for this award. And apologies, I can't be there in person. I hope everyone's having a great conference. So I'd like to present some of the research I've been leading recently, which describes a new way of using artificial intelligence in online consultations. I'm sure that many of you in the audience are familiar with online consultations and are using them in your practice and as patients too. So online consultation systems are software that allow patients to contact their GP practice by submitting forms over the internet. They saw large-scale adoption during COVID, and virtually all GP practices offer them to their patients now. So last year, my team performed a systematic review of the literature on online consultation systems, and we found that although they can have positive impacts, such as increased patient access, they can also have negative impacts, such as increased workload and perceived safety problems. We actually found that some of these negative impacts were often related to how the system is designed. For example, negative impacts were more common when patients were forced to answer multiple choice questions rather than being able to write their messages using their own words in what we call natural language. We also hypothesized that some of these negative impacts could potentially be mitigated by use of artificial intelligence in triage. So our aim has been to develop an artificial intelligence system that can triage online consultations where patients describe their requests using their own words in this so-called natural language. And the way that we did this was by building our own online consultation system called Patches. It's been used by GP practices since 2020, initially without any AI. And instead of answering lots of multiple choice questions, patients can describe their queries by answering a few open-ended questions that mimic the type of questions we would normally ask in a primary care consultation. And patients then reply in their own words. And each time a patient uses Patches, GP practices record their triage decisions. So to actually build the AI, we took those triage decisions along with the details of the patients and their query and used a type of AI model called a neural network to predict various triage outcomes like the urgency of the online consultation, whether it needed input from a clinician, whether it needed a face-to-face appointment, and the clinical topics that the patient was describing. The AI that we built can now send additional messages to the patient, for example, advising them to attend A&E in an emergency or to self-care when appropriate. And it can also ask them further questions based on the topic of their request. The GP practice also sees the online consultations in their inbox in priority order, ordered by the AI, workflow to the correct user with additional useful information about the query. So we've interviewed staff who have used the AI about their views, and we found three key themes. So firstly, they want the AI to be safe and to miss as few patients with serious or urgent conditions as possible. Secondly, they feel that the AI positively supports their practice workflows by helping patients get the care they need sooner. And thirdly, they find that the AI has most benefit for non-clinical staff who are usually doing the initial triage of online consultations, typically receptionists or care navigators. Of course, we also closely monitor the accuracy of the AI too. So focusing on its ability to detect urgent online consultations, we find that the AI correctly picks up 94% of all truly urgent patient requests, and these are determined by the GP practice staff themselves. This is also known as the sensitivity or true positive rate. And actually comparing that to human doctors, the literature suggests that they can pick up about 80%. So this addresses the interview finding that staff want the AI to be as safe as possible. So in conclusion, as far as we're aware, Practitioner is the first online consultation system to use AI for natural language processing. Safety of AI appears to be most important to GP practice users, and AI may support practice workflows, particularly for non-clinical staff. Thank you very much again for the RCGP and SAPC for this award.
That was fantastic. I'm going to just slightly adjust the agenda so that, oh, is Ben there or has he gone? If anybody's got a question, can you pop to the microphone? And that's just while we get the slides back. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next award. Yep. We can actually use this one, Simon.
Thank you very much, Ben. So you said it had high sensitivity compared with GPs, but the counter of that is specificity. How did the specificity compare with GPs? Because it looked like it was only about 66%. And if you have a high sensitivity and you get everybody back because they might be ill, then the NHS will collapse.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The corollary of having a high sensitivity is that you have a low specificity and a low positive predictive value. So we've actually built the AI to be highly sensitive, so because that's essentially what the users want. So that goes back to the kind of user requirements in terms of what is most useful in terms of the GP practice. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, if everything's urgent, then nothing's urgent. But we're trying to, I mean, this is an ongoing process in terms of tweaking the performance of the AI, and the aim is always to get a balance between the specificity and the sensitivity. But as mentioned, the GP practice staff would prefer it to have a high sensitivity at the moment.
Thanks very much, Ben. Thank you, Simon, for your question. Okay, so if we give Ben a round of applause and we'll get the slides changed.